The first thing we want to do is find page 90 in our e-text, and number 27 will give us a StatCrunch link. We'll open the data in StatCrunch and complete parts A through D. Or excuse me, complete parts A through E. So StatCrunch link will open our data. And the first thing we want to do is create frequency distributions. We'll need to bin the data first. So we'll use the raw data, use fixed bin widths, starting at 20, and bin width of 5, include left endpoints. Compute. So here are the bins, and then we will want to do stat, tables, frequency, and get the frequency distribution of the bins. So we'll select the bin column and select frequency and relative frequency, which is the default, and then click compute. So here are the frequency and relative frequency distributions. The next task is to create histograms. We'll graph the histogram. So click graph histogram. The raw data is what we want to use here. And type, we'll start with frequency, and then we'll use relative frequency next. So we'll say start at 20 again, and width of 5. And if you'd like to, you can include the mean and the median markers. And that's not necessary here, only if you'd like to do that. You can click compute. And here's our frequency distribution. Now remember, each time you have a result, such as the frequency and relative frequency distributions, you want to save those. And I would want to indicate Lab 2 and 2.2, number 27, A through B, and save. And then on my histogram, I will save that as Lab 2, 2.2, number 27C. And then now that this is saved, I can actually go and edit my options, switch this to relative frequency, compute again, and now I have the relative frequency graph, which looks identical except for the vertical scale, and I'll save this copy. So now I have Lab 2, 2.2, number 27D, and I'm completely done now with the StatCrunch portion of 2.2, number 27. Lab 2 also requires that you go to section 4.1, number 29, and utilize the data for that particular problem to complete the next portion. So here we are in section 4.1, number 29. This is on page 193, and we'll need to complete parts A through D. So for parts A and D, we'll simply be writing a written response in the lab report. For parts B and C, we will do calculations in StatCrunch. So we'll draw a scatter diagram and compute the correlation coefficient. Let's click the StatCrunch link and open this up. So the first thing I want to do is graph my scatter diagram. So graph, and we'll go to scatter plot. X variable will go with weight, and Y variable, the response variable, would be miles per gallon. Now grouping, we don't need to worry about that. We want to potentially overlay a linear polynomial, but that's not necessary here. And so what we're going to do is just click compute, and we have this scatter diagram here. So options, save, and I'll put Lab 2, 4.1, number 29, part B, and save. Now what I'd like to do is create or calculate the correlation coefficient. I'll go to Stat, Summary Stats, Correlation, select Weight, and hold the Control key while you click miles per gallon, and then click Compute. And we have the correlation coefficient, which is negative 0.841, and so on. We want to do options, save this result as well. Do Lab 2, 4.1.29.C, and save. So now we have all the results that we need for our lab report. Actually, one of the other things we should do is save our data. Let's save our data. 4.1.29 Lab 2 and save. And then this one, data save, we'll say Lab 2, 2.2, number 27. So saving the data sets. Now, of course, what we need to do is open the main StatCrunch page and create a report. So remember, click on StatCrunch, My StatCrunch, create new report. Big things, title it, make sure you share with everyone, answer the questions that require written answers, attach your results, and attach your data sets. And then save. Just a reminder, in order to submit your lab, remember to go to the My StatCrunch Reports area, right-click on the title of your saved lab, copy link location, and then paste that URL into the submission area in Canvas.